Texas back.
Well, yeah, no, they've already destroyed California, so they're fleeing here, but then immediately start doing the same thing they did in California.
We need more info warriors. So I would clearly be an info warrior. So it helped balance out the migration of, let's call them non-info warriors.
Yes, I don't know, though, if Austin's enough of a mega city for you. Paris, London, Austin.
Yeah, well, the thing is growing quite rapidly, so you like to get in on these things while they're, developing. Take full advantage.
You like to get into bubbles early?
I'd like to, the bubbles are bursting.
I think the bubble is quite large at this point here.
Well, London is a bubble. You mentioned real estate bubbles. London is clearly in a bubble. The bond market's in a bubble. Stock markets are clearly in a bubble because these central banks, they do nothing but inflate these markets with all their free money, their easy money, their quantitative easy money, and it does nothing except make the top of the pyramid very, very wealthy, but everyone else at the bottom of the 99.9% is getting shafted. The wages are going down. Job market's drying up, robots are taking over. So the whole monetary policy game that they've been doing now for 10.
I want to look at your perspectives for the world, because you did predict here last year that you would see this dollar devaluation and a lot of the defaults and things that are happening. But what about blowing up convoys of Russian trucks going into Ukraine today, and the Pentagon announcing they're sending the Army's 1st Brigade, 1st Cavalry with Abrams tanks to the border to prepare for basically battle with the Russians?
Look, there's a pipeline that has its origin in that area.
I know, but this isn't the Iraqis we're robbing. Now it's the Russians.
Yeah,
because they do own that pipeline. I mean,
right? You got Russia, Iran. Are now coming together in a way that they would potentially supply Europe with 50% of their gas, natural gas, if this pipeline is completed. The PARS, I think, is the shorthand for this pipeline. And, of course, the U.S. and Saudi Arabia doesn't want that to happen. So they're going to go to war. They're going to go to war in Ukraine, essentially.
And that's why Saudi Arabia is now attacking Iraq, which really means Iran. And then our media acts like Obama is bombing ISIS when it is literally hatched from his loins.
I would agree with that. I mean, there's a proxy war going on, and it's all about oil. So Russia is basically, and I've been saying, doesn't Russia have the right to defend itself, basically, to use the line?
But I don't have to intellectually have any facts or argue with you. I'm just going to call you racist.
Because I'm taking a line other than the party line?
Homophobe, racist, mass murderer.
Well, you bring up a good point in that there are code words that are used by mass media to marginalize people before even they get their point out. So, I mean, in media in this country is extremely monolithic. There's only one view. It comes from the White House, and it's repeated over and over and over again. Only InfoWars and a few other outlets have an opposing view. But I hear what you're saying. It's very difficult to have a debate in this country because all debate is shut down. Fox News being the primary center of non-debate debates. And this guy, Sean Hannity, who I think is really become the worst example of media extremism, where he's over there, he's trying to dry hump Netanyahu like a chihuahua, dry hump.
Okay, stop. Family show. No more.
Did you see those?
No more. No more.
Like,
all right, but listen. Can't you pull back though and see the whole Palestinian-Israel thing is a giant manipulation as well? I mean, look at Fox News.
Also energy resources off Gaza that they have. They have some gas resources off Gaza as well. There's also an energy element to that conflict as well. And it's an occupying force, Israel, that is, like a bad developer with nukes. I mean, that's what they are. They're a developer with nukes. So they think, oh, we're just going to develop. We're going to build wherever we want to build. We don't care what the law is. You're in the way. We're going to bomb you. We'll kill you. We don't care. That's the Israel policy. The U.S., because all this news is just...
Yeah, but I'm not defending Israel, but I want to be fair here. I mean, a bunch of the Palestinians are dragging people that don't agree with them around behind motorbikes, and who cares about the 300,000 Christians being murdered by IS? See, if the Palestinians...
They're defending their border against Mexican. Why can't the Palestinians be defending their border against Israel?
Look, I know, I'm not defending the border against Mexicans. They're bringing in all these people from Central America and paying them to vote in California.
They don't want them coming across the border. Okay, the Palestine doesn't want people coming across the border either, building illegal settlements on their land. It's their land.
Well, I mean, it does look bad when when that happens.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So they're defending themselves. They have the right to defend themselves.
But see, I don't even have to debate you. I'll just call you an anti-Semite.
Well, Semite now means terrorist. Thanks to what Israel's been doing. According to Israel's definition of anti-Semitism, according to Israel now, that means you're anti-terrorist. Let's be clear.
I'm really confused now.
Let's be clear.
I want to talk about
terrorists.
Stay there.
A 30-day GMO-free emergency food supply for only $99 at 30dayfoodsupply.com. You can purchase Oregon Trail Foods' 1-month supply of high-quality, nutritious, and healthy emergency meals. For less than $100, these vegetarian meals are naturally high in fiber, carbs, and protein, and they're packed with oxygen absorbers in Mylar pouches. They're completely free of any artificial flavors and colorings, have a 20-year shelf life, and take up to 70% less space than number 10 cans. They even offer a gluten-free option. Oregon Trail Foods and 30dayfoodsupply.com keep prices low by buying directly from the producers in Oregon and then passing the savings to you. Purchase a 30-day, 90-serving emergency food supply for only $99 this month, and $10 ships your entire order. Visit the website at 30dayfoodsupply.com or call 541-229-0010. That's 30dayfoodsupply.com, where they make preparedness affordable. 30dayfoodsupply.com.
InfoWarsStore.com. From this Monday to next, all of the incredible books, videos, supplements, liberty-based attire, belt buckles, Molon Labe t-shirts, organic seeds, you name it, are 10% off the already extremely low prices. We are doing this special to draw attention to the brainwashing that's taking place in the media and in the public schools and in many of the private schools and the, quote, higher levels of education. InfoWars.com is right at the tip of the spear worldwide. That's why it's essential to take advantage of this 10% off across-the-board special at InfoWarsStore.com. Whether it's the Made in America apparel or the Produced in America high-quality supplements, it's all 10% off the already lowest price in this back-to-school week. History is taking place right now. By going to InfoWarsStore.com, you are literally buying war bonds in the battle to awaken humanity.
Curious about what comes next? Next is the feeling of vulnerability you get after you arrive home to discover your house has been ransacked by burglars. Fool the bad guys with a new improved fake TV. You asked for it, we listened, and we made our new fake TV 3 times brighter than our previous model. The brightness of our new fake TV is equivalent to a 40-inch TV. It simulates the color and motion of a real TV while you're away from home. And when burglars think someone is home watching television, they're likely to pass your house and move on to an easier target. The new, brighter fake TV is only $39.95 and includes free shipping. Go to faketv.com or call 1-877-5-FAKE-TV. That's 877-532-5388. Or go to faketv.com. Fake TV, the burglar deterrent.
Clean water at home, clean water at the office, clean water on the go. The Berkey Guy has a Berkey water filtration model for anywhere you are and one that fits any budget. Thousands of satisfied customers can't be wrong. For free shipping within the U.S., go to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653. Helping thousands prepare since 2005, goberkey.com.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it led back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Ted Anderson, I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
I say I shot the sheriff, but I swear it was in self-defense. Yeah. Freedom came my way one day, and I started out of town, yeah.
By the way, where are the firearms? I wanted the 50 cals and stuff brought in here 15 minutes ago. Let's just start bringing those in.
We're bringing them in. They're very heavy.
I understand during the perseverations of Max Kaiser. Max, let's get serious. You're in your manic phase right now.
I prefer to use the term lighthearted.
Hypomanic.
Lighthearted, please. Thank you.
I understand. But let's get serious just here for a moment, because I know you're a smart guy, inventor of a lot of virtual trading technologies, worked with George
I got the new
Soros'
one.
son.
We'll talk about soon, the new one.
You were. I want to talk about a lot of stuff with you, but what do you make about the crises in the world intensifying? Secretary of Defense Hagel 2 days ago said the whole world is blowing up. Obama 3 weeks ago, they said that we owe him for the world being the most stable ever. So obviously, I agree with Hagel, not him. There's just more and more craziness going on. What do you think the grand strategy is of the technocrats, or is there not a strategy? Because every analyst I have on, really smart, top CIA people, you name it, say this is insane with Russia. Good chance it's going to lead to a big war, nuclear war. Our elites are doing things that were never done before. What is happening, Max Kaiser?
Well, Alex, you have to look at it in terms of the fact that there is now a global conflict over the remaining resources out there, energy resources and food resources. And how did we come to this? We came to this point because over the past 30 years or longer, there's been an attempt to grow the world economy using only monetary policy. There's been an attempt to grow the world economy simply by
on paper BS.
Printing money. And back 40 years ago, for every, for example, dollar of debt that was generated by the United States, there was maybe $1.50 or $2 of debt for every dollar of GDP. That was roughly the equation. You'd create about $2 of debt, and you'd get $1 worth of GDP. Today, it takes almost $12 of debt to get the same dollar of GDP. So what does that tell you? It tells you that this debt bubble keeps expanding, and we're at the point now.
And it will go Zimbabwe?
Well, we're at the point, though, that the resources that are remaining for the world, and we see this in Ukraine, because Ukraine is agricultural and energy resources. And because the monetary stimulus doesn't generate GDP growth anymore, it's coming to blows. It's coming to war. This is the
Europe wants to absorb a snack. And they want to absorb Russia's gas pipelines and bases that have been theirs for 600 years. And so there has to be, I guess, a war, because that just belongs to George Soros.
Well, look, after World War I and World War II, all that money in Europe ended up going to the U.S. That was for safe haven. So the U.S. inherited a tremendous billions and billions of dollars worth of cash. And they created, as we all know, in the 70s, the petrodollar with the Saudi Arabia. But now we're in an interesting inflection point where if Iran and Russia are successful building this gas pipeline into Europe, they could have 50% of the gas flowing into Europe very soon. That would completely undermine the dollar and completely undermine the U.S. hegemony and U.S. post-World War II strategy.
But this isn't...
They're going to go to war over this.
But it isn't even really U.S. It means the corporate interests that run the U.S.
Okay, fine. I mean, you can call that as well. But the corporations that represent the U.S. corporations, the agriculture, like Monsanto is a big one, or the big oil companies, they are now understanding that the only way that they can protect their position is to go to war. So they're going to war. I think we're on now at the beginning of a major global war over the region that's in the past been the region that where wars have started with players that in the past have gone to war with each other. So I think that's where we're at. Ukraine is the staging ground for this conflict.
I don't lionize Pooty-Poot, as Bush called him, a man whose soul he could trust. But, I mean, Russia is not offensive right now. They're not stirring stuff up. They're trying to be free market. Our government's trying to overthrow them, messing with them. And, I mean, they just can't bully Russia like they did Iraq or Syria. I just can't believe the neocons and the Democrats are trying to bite something off this big. They're delusional.
We know from the Victoria Nuland tapes that the EU and the U.S. And the IMF and the Western forces were anxious to put in a puppet government in Ukraine. And they succeeded in putting in a puppet government to put the interests of these corporations like Monsanto and others forward. And the people in Crimea decided they didn't want to have any more to do with this. They voted a referendum to leave. They were then subsumed by Russia. The people in eastern Ukraine are saying, they're getting bombed every day by Kiev. Eastern Ukraine looks like...
Oh, I know. They voted to not be part of the EU, so the CIA overthrew the country.
Right.
And then now they're trying to steal the part of Russia that's always been part of Russia and their gas pipelines. I mean,
so where's Russia been aggressive so far in that?
I think Russia's horrible. They're racist. That's why they need to be bombed. Nuclear.
We're on the march. The